Hey, g'day lads, welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be doing my AFL 2022 ladder predictions. Let's crack right. I won't be going into too much detail, it'll be a little overview and I'll give you the predictions and a few bowl calls near the end. I'll be releasing a few videos in the future just before the season, kind of analysing and deconstructing the teams and how go this season. But this will just be my short prediction, showing like pretty much what they're going to do. Place the Wooden Spooners, the Suns, they'll have an absolute stinker of a season. It won't work. Don't be surprised to write them off. They'll be pretty bummed this season. Don't get too excited if you're a Suns fan. And yeah, you're going to get absolutely smacked. 17th position, I know this is a big call. Some of you might click off the video. The West Coast Eagles. Now the Eagles, I just can't see them really putting in enough effort this season, especially with all the injuries and the retirees from last season and the age factor and Jack Darling stepping away. I just can't see it really clicking this season, especially after what we saw against my Fremantle. It was disgusting. They couldn't find a brand of footy. They got smashed on long haul, and yeah, it just won't work out this season. And I've got a big call later on about Adam Simpson, but you'll keep an eye out later in the video. But it's not going to work well for West Coast. 16th position, I have the Adelaide Crows. They're going to be a pretty... they're just a... I don't know what to say, but they're just not... They don't have enough footy experience, and they're not as exciting as the teams like the Bombers and the Roos and the Hawks. They're just not an exciting team to watch, and teams can sort of figure them out. They get a few upsets here and there. They'll win a few games, but they won't be anything too special. 15th position, I have the Pies. Now, the Pies will be a pretty good team this season. I reckon they'll have a few games here and there up against Carlton, win those games, but they're going to be okay. They're not going to be really bad, but, they'll be in and around the competition. They'll win a few games here and there, but they won't be anything too special. They won't be really consistent. They'll win a game every five games, 6 games. Yeah. That'll be it. 14th position, I have the Roos. Not much to say. They're a young side. They look exciting. They've got a game plan. Unlike the Adelaide Crows, they look exciting. They're not aging like the Pies or the Eagles. They're just a pretty good, well-rounded side with a few youngsters coming from the draft and from previous seasons. They picked up from Richmond, and they're going to be growing this season. Don't be surprised in a couple of seasons they could make. In 13th position, I have the Hawks. Now, the Hawks look pretty exciting. They're versing, we saw them up against Tigers in the preseason. They look exciting. They got smashed in the first half, but they just had the fight and the anger to just fight back, which was pretty entertaining from their behalf. But I just reckon they've got that edge, as I said, with North Melbourne over the likes of Collingwood and Adelaide Eagles. They just got the system that works for the team and the players they have. They're a growing side, I know. They'll probably get smashed a few games, but there'll be a few games where they come up with a crazy upset or they dominate a game, which will be very unexpected, but I reckon they can have a few good games here and there. It won't be too crazy, but look out for 4th position. Don't come at me, Blues fans, but I have Carlton. Now, Carlton, I reckon they can be a crazy team on their day, but then there's other days where they just get smashed out the water. This is their first season with the likes of Chera from my team, and it's not going to click together. I reckon they'll get a few injuries. I know this is based on the team, but this is my prediction, and I see them just flopping a few games. They've had previous seasons. Everyone reckons they're going to make finals. I can't see it happening. I think they'll have a few stinkers, especially at the start of the season. I reckon they'll start off real poor. Second half of the season, they'll build their way back up, but it won't be good enough to make the top 8, as it is pretty tight from Carlton all the way to the Bombers. 11th position, don't attack me, St Kilda. St Kilda they've got a hard fixture because they finished so high last season. Unlike some of the other teams above them, they finished lower, so they've got easier fixtures, but they're versing some pretty hard teams this season, which I just can't see them winning. They'll struggle, and St Kilda, they'll be an okay side. They'll have a few good games, especially at home. Watch out for them at Marvel, but when they're playing Optus Stadium, I just can't see them winning those games. So yeah, 12th position. In 10th position, I have the Tigers. Now, the Tigers have a pretty easy fixture compared to the likes of the Saints and the Blues, because they were so low last season that they get to verse the lower teams from last season who are kind of rebuilding. They're in the rebuilding stage. So the Tigers, I reckon they'll have one last good season and then they'll start washing off. 10th position, not much to say. Position, I have the Giants. Now, the Giants probably got the biggest kind of ladder finishing position. They could finish in the top 4, but they could finish, 14th for all we know. They're really inconsistent. I see them winning a few big games, especially at home. They're a really good team at home. They love to beat Sydney, the bridge rivals, but I can't see them overall being in the top 8, making finals. I reckon will be a bit difficult for them. I reckon Toby Green will have a few problems yet again this season. It's Toby Green, but not much to say. 9th position, it's a bit biased. Fremantle Dockers. We used to have such a young, good kind of playing team. We play a good system, good coach, good young players. They'll grow even more this season. It's just the inconsistency away from home. When we're versing the likes of the Bombers, the Tigers, Melbourne, Marvel, the MCG, I can't see us winning those games. I feel like we could drop a few games, maybe lose to the Suns at Metricon, or lose to the Adelaide Crows in round 1. Adelaide Oval, we're not such a good team away, but when we're playing at Optus Stadium, we're not a team that you want to mess with. I reckon, first derby, I reckon we'll win. Second derby, a bit questionable, but I reckon we'll be an okay side this. In 7th position, the Bombers. Now, the Bombers are quite a young team. They just look hungry. They've got quite a hard sort of fixture, but just the hunger in the way they play, the intensity, the pressure. I could see them, beating Western Bulldogs at Marvel. I could see them beating a Geelong at GMHBA. Don't be surprised. They'll be hungry this season. I reckon they'll have a few bad games here and there, but the hunger from the likes of Jake Stringer, McDonald and Woody. 6th position, not much to say about them. The Sydney Swans. They're just such a good team. It's I love watching them. They play such a good brand of footy. They have superstar players. Lance Franklin will kick 1,000 this season. Don't be surprised if they, make a run in the finals as well. They'll be a pretty good team at home. They'll have a few upsets here and there at the MCG, but yeah, Sydney. Position, I know this will be a bit of a crazy one for you. The Melbourne Demons in 5th position. I reckon they'll be a bit drunk from last season, a little bit hungover after the whole grand final saga. We saw them up against Carlton. They lost that game. Maybe it's just because it's pre-season, they don't care, but I reckon this season teams will sort of figure out their system. They'll get found out and teams will strive off their mistakes and dominate their game. Especially in the first half of the season, I can't see them dominating. But in the second half, they'll kind of build their way back up in the top 8. But yeah, 5th position, missing out on the top 4. The Melbourne position, quite a few people are writing them off. The Geelong Cats, they'll come out this season hungry and firing. People love it when they write them off. People love it when people doubt them because they just come out and do it again. People, I think they're a bit oblivious to the talent they still have. Jeremy Cameron, Tom Hawkins, Patrick Dangerfield. They've got such a stacked team. I know they're getting a little bit older, but they have experience. They've still got pace. They're not really slow. They know how to play. Top 4, I reckon, just by the brink of percentage against Melbourne. But top 4 for Geelong. Position, the Dogs, they're not normally a good team during the regular season. They'll make a run in the finals. 3rd position, not much to say. Yeah, Bulldogs. 2nd position, they are an absolute powerhouse of a team at home. Port Adelaide, but then they'll have a few stinkers away from home, I reckon. When they verse the likes of the Brisbane Lions or, the D's, even the Bulldogs and a few other teams away. I can't see them giving enough. They're not a good team away, but they are an absolute, crazy team at home. They'll beat the teams they have to beat. Not too much to say about them yet again. 2nd position for Port. And winning the minor premiership, the Brisbane Lions, they've got still quite a young team, but they've got their team sorted out. Especially with Danaher, kind of fitting in this season. I know Hipwood out is a big injury, but I can just see them striving this season, especially at home at Gabba. At the Gabba, they just smash teams at the park. People GWS, and then GWS go to the Gabba and get smashed by 56. I reckon that would be pretty good away from home this season as well. Don't be surprised if they get a few upsets at the MCG, beating the likes of Melbourne or the Dogs at the Marvel. They've got enough capability to do that, but yeah, they'll be an okay side in terms of away. But at home, they'll be even better than Port Adelaide. They'll be crazy. My bold predictions: winning the Brownlow, Patrick Cripps from Carlton. I reckon I saw him in the preseason. He is an absolute gun. He's back. He's striving. Everyone's saying Bont will win it. Everyone's saying Clayton Oliver. But normally the favourites don't win. We saw Ollie Wines win it last season, and it came out of nowhere. So I reckon out of nowhere, Paddy Cripps comes and wins the Brownlow. Getting the Coleman, I reckon Joe Danaher, the Brisbane Lions, finishing top of the table. He's pretty much one of the only big men up there getting the ball. He's fit into the system after last season. He'll just be insane this season. He'll dominate. He'll get a lot of the ball, have a lot of shots on goal. Coleman for him. Surprise All-Australian Jack Graham from the Richmond Tigers. I reckon he will, sort of carry that midfield. With the likes of Cochrane getting older and so many other players have retired. The spots opened up for him to just dominate the game, and I reckon he will. Dusty probably won't play much midfield time either. He'll be up forward, kicking snags from the pocket, and he'll be in the midfield dominating, playing hardball. And the surprise walkaways or sacks, well, not really surprise. I reckon Shuey Jew gets sacked by the Gold Coast Suns after round 8. I reckon they're going to start the season 0 wins, 8 losses, and he'll get sacked. And I know you West Coast fans won't be happy with me, but I reckon Adam Simpson at the end of the season steps away from the West Coast Eagles and, says he loves fishing and becomes a fisher. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. See you, lads.